Hey, welcome to the mountains of Elysium. This video is a Babylon 5 theory video, so warning, there are major spoilers ahead. So with everyone suitably warned, let's begin. In Babylon 5, the Vorlons seem to be an aloof species who knew what they were doing, had their plan, but suddenly things seemed to change, right around the time of War Without End. Now, it is my theory that the Vorlons, up to this point, knew what was happening, because one of them, and I believe it to be Kosh, sent back a piece of himself with Sinclair, who became Valen, and reintegrated himself with his being in the past, giving him foreknowledge of the future, and passing that information on to the rest of the Vorlon Empire. This would explain a lot. The Vorlons were very ordered, so that is something that they would want. The Shadows believe in chaos, and I don't believe they would have said no to foreknowledge, but the Vorlons, it is very in character of them to do something like this. I would even go so far as to say they had a hand in the creation of the Great Machine, and while there were visions of the future, I do not believe they were actual, genuine visions. I believe they were fed by Vorlons to critical members of staff and others to further the myth that what happened needed to happen without telling the truth, that the Vorlons were manipulating things. Now, there is damning evidence that the Vorlons did this. When Kosh saves Sheridan from falling, he appears as an angel of light to each of the species looking at the event. He appeared to Sheridan as the angel Gabriel, to the Drazi as one of their deities, similar to the Narn, the Mambari, basically all creatures or people not touched by shadow. For instance, Malari saw nothing. Also, throughout the series, we see the Vorlons having manipulated people or taking people and using them. They create the telepaths on every world to fight the shadows, not giving people a chance or a choice. They use Jack the Ripper to find out who is the true one. Although I've another theory on that being that the Vorlons already knew Delenn, Sheridan, and Sinclair would be the trinity needed to win the war for them. But they had Jack sharpening his skills on others, which is really creepy, being that many, if not most of those, died during his interrogations. The Vorlons show themselves to be very seemingly calm, collected, knowing what they're doing. Yet after War Without End, they go bat crap crazy. They attack the Shadows. Now, this happened just beforehand, and I believe this is a change in their outlook, because after this point, the Vorlons would no longer have foreknowledge of the future. They began their attack just before War Without End, and when Sinclair went back, he would have brought back the knowledge that this had happened. The Vorlons would have gone on the offensive, and Kosh died. So Kosh, and I believe it was a part of Kosh, in Sinclair would have given himself the knowledge he was going to die. Now, he would not have been the part of Kosh that died, so he wouldn't have had the epiphany that he had to speak to Sheridan. So a slightly different Kosh, but still Kosh nonetheless, who would have had foreknowledge of the future. And what Kosh said, he knew this would happen, and he was afraid. He knew they needed to attack, and he was afraid. And he knew just after they attacked, he would be killed. So this may have held back the Vorlons for a time. But as they're stuck within a time loop, this could not have been changed anyway. After War Without End, events can change. During that time loop, things would not change. Right near the aperture, where things fluctuate slightly, being Zatras captured in a corridor in one time loop and in a conference room in another, there are minor variations that had no overall effect on the timeline, so would have been irrelevant. And for that timeline to happen, everything needed to happen as it did. Now, I want to keep this video short, but in the future I can go into far greater detail into all the little events that happened that seem to be inconsistencies, but when you take this theory as the core of the time loop that the Vorlons did know, a lot of the inconsistencies, such as Sinclair always surviving the Battle of the Line, him being the one picked and chosen by the Minbari to be tortured and examined, always him. And if time can fluctuate, if things can change, this would not have happened. Someone else would have been, unless the Vorlons were shepherding things, keeping things in line, because they knew those events would happen. They didn't stop the Minbari and the humans fighting, even though they told the Minbari that they would need the humans to fight the next war. So the fact that the Minbari were just about to genocide the humans out of existence and the Vorlons doing nothing was completely out of character with a race that believes in order. An order that they knew must happen. So that is, in short, my theory. And I'd like you to let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you think it's complete pig swill? Or do you think there's something in it? Let me know in the comments. And let me know any instances where you think this is supported or contradicted in the series up to this point. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope to do some follow-ups on this in the future, and hope to see you all again soon. Thank you for listening. Please, if you like this video, give it a like. If you don't, give it a thumbs down, but let me know in the comments below why. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Take care, and God bless.